Have you ever felt someone's presence so deeply it seemed to rewrite the very air around you? Not their physical form, but something far more intimate, the quiet hum of their essence threading through your days, the way sunlight lingers on skin long after sunset. This is the mystery of twin flame union approaching, not a distant promise, but a quiet revolution already unfolding within you. That inexplicable warmth flooding your chest at odd hours. The dreams that feel more like visitations than imagination. The sudden knowing, absolute, unshakable, that they're thinking of you in the very moment your hands begin to tremble. These aren't coincidences. They're the universe whispering the one truth you've always sensed but couldn't yet name. The separation was never real. You've walked through fire for this love, faced shadows that threatened to unravel you, endured silences that howled louder than any voice. And now, just when you've learned to stand alone, the ground beneath you begins to tremble with a new kind of gravity. Not the desperate pull of longing, but the steady magnetic certainty of a tide returning home. What you're experiencing isn't just anticipation, it's memory. Your soul recognizing what your mind is only beginning to understand. The reunion was written into your bones long before this lifetime began. Every synchronicity, every ache, every moment of doubt has been carving a sacred pathway. Not to them, but to the version of you capable of holding this love without breaking. The love that once burned like wildfire now glows like hearthlight. Steady, sustaining, impossible to extinguish. This is how you know union is near. When the thought of it no longer sends your heart racing, but instead draws a slow, deep breath of recognition, as if you're not waiting for something new, but remembering something ancient. You've felt it before, that inexplicable surge in your chest, the sudden warmth flooding your veins, as if their essence has slipped through the walls of time and space to brush against your soul. No text, no call, no logical reason, yet you know. The air hums with them, the silence carries their voice, and then the dream, vivid, visceral, drenched in colors and emotions that linger long after waking. You sit up, breathless, fingers clutching the sheets, thinking that wasn't just a dream, that was a meeting. Right before union, the veil between you and your twin flame thins to transparency. You might wake at 3 a.m., heart pounding, as if someone just whispered your name. Or you'll catch their scent, cedarwood, vanilla, something uniquely them, in a room where no one stands. These aren't hallucinations. They're etheric encounters, moments when your souls sink outside the constraints of the physical. The more you surrender, the stronger the pull becomes, like gravity rearranging itself to draw you together. While your body sleeps, your spirit wanders, and in that boundless astral space, you and your twin flame meet, sometimes knowingly, sometimes in symbols. A locked door bursting open, a bridge appearing over a chasm, a storm that calms the moment you reach for each other. These dreams aren't fantasies. They're memory fragments of a reunion already happening in higher dimensions. You'll start noticing their name everywhere, on street signs, in song lyrics, scrolling past strangers who share it. You might take a wrong turn and end up parked beside their favorite cafe, or a mutual friend, out of the blue, will mention them in conversation. These aren't coincidences. They're breadcrumbs left by the divine. The cosmos conspires to keep their energy near you, even when logic insists they're far away. Here's the sacred contradiction. The closer union gets, the more the 3D world may amplify distance. Jobs relocate people. Misunderstandings arise. External circumstances seem to resist the reunion. But this is the final test. The universe is asking, do you trust the connection beyond what your eyes see? The more you ache for them in the physical, the more fiercely your souls commune in the unseen. Separation becomes irrelevant. You start feeling their joy, their sorrow, as if your nervous systems have merged. A touch from across the ocean, a kiss through time, and then peace. The frantic searching stops. The need for proof dissolves. You realize union was never about geography or timing. It was about vibrational alignment. You could be continents apart, yet feel them lying beside you in the dark. You could go years without a word, yet hear their laughter in the rain. This is the secret. Union happens first in the realm where you've always been together. The physical world is just catching up. So tonight, when the air shifts and your skin tingles with the ghost of their touch, don't question it. Lean into the quiet, knowing they're coming, not because you willed it, but because the universe remembers what you agreed to long before this lifetime. The bridge between you isn't being built, it's being revealed. All you have to do, walk forward. You wake up one morning and something is different, not in the way of epiphanies or sudden revelations, but in the quiet, unshakable knowing that the ground beneath you has shifted. The job you've held for years suddenly feels stifling. The city you once loved now hums with a restless energy, as if it's gently pushing you out. Friends you've known forever begin speaking in ways that no longer resonate. Even the walls of your home seem to whisper, you're being prepared for something. Something is coming. This is the stage where the universe stops hinting and starts acting. Doors you never noticed before swing open effortlessly, while others, the ones you've been knocking on for years, lock themselves shut with finality. You might receive a job offer in a city you've never considered. A lease ends at the exact moment you feel called to move. A relationship that once felt essential now dissolves without drama, leaving you lighter, freer. These aren't random events. This is divine order in motion. The cosmic realignment that happens when your soul's path intersects with your twin flames in the physical realm. From the outside, it might look like your life is unraveling. Projects stall. Plans collapse. People you thought would be there forever fade away. But what's actually happening is far more exquisite. The universe is clearing the stage. It doesn't take without giving, but it will dismantle anything that can't coexist with the frequency of your reunion. Here's the paradox. The closer union gets, the more delays might appear. At first, it feels like sabotage, until you realize these aren't blockages, but sacred pauses. The universe is ensuring every fragment of your being is ready. Divine timing isn't about making you wait. It's about making sure everything, your healing, your lessons, your twin's journey, reaches the perfect simmer. And then, one ordinary morning, you realize the longing has changed. It's no longer a desperate ache, but a steady, radiant certainty. You stop checking your phone for their message. Stop wondering when, because somehow, in a way you can't logically explain, you feel them coming. The air itself seems to vibrate with their nearness. This is the final sign. When your faith outweighs your fear, when your trust in the journey becomes unshakable, that's when the physical world has no choice but to mirror what your soul already knows. So when your life starts rearranging itself in ways you didn't plan, breathe. This isn't chaos. This is the universe working with you, not against you. Every closed door, every unexpected detour, every silent night spent wondering why is part of a map you don't need to see to trust. The path is being cleared. The timing is being perfected. All you have to do, keep showing up, open, willing, and fiercely alive to the magic unfolding in plain sight. Your reunion isn't just coming. In the unseen realms where destiny is woven, it's already here. You wake up one morning, and the person you were yesterday no longer fits. Your old comforts feel hollow. The music that once moved you now falls flat against your ribs. Even your reflection seems to hold a stranger's eyes, wiser, quieter, glowing with something you can't name. This isn't just change, beloved. This is metamorphosis at the soul level. The sacred unraveling that happens when you're being prepared for union. The universe isn't just bringing you to your twin flame, it's making sure you recognize yourself when you get there. Suddenly, everything that once made sense stops working. Meditation techniques that brought peace now stir restlessness. Spiritual practices that felt profound become empty rituals. Friends who've walked with you for years suddenly speak a language you can't understand. This isn't loss, it's soul-level upgrading. Like a snake shedding skin it's outgrown, you're being stripped of all that can't cross the threshold into union. One woman described burning every journal she'd kept for a decade in a single spontaneous night. Not from anger, but because the person who wrote them no longer existed. Another found himself unable to wear his favorite color for months, only to discover it was his twin's least favorite shade. The universe is ruthless in its preparation, because love this deep demands nothing less than your whole, unfiltered truth. Strangers start confessing their deepest secrets to you. Animals behave unusually around you. Technology glitches in your presence. Lights flicker, devices turn on by themselves, batteries drain inexplicably. This isn't coincidence, it's frequency disruption. Your energy field is vibrating at a rate that distorts the ordinary. You'll crave solitude like oxygen. Crowds feel oppressive. Even loved ones' energy becomes overwhelming. This isn't isolation, it's cocooning. The soul knows when it's time to withdraw and reorganize. A successful CEO suddenly canceled all meetings for a month, spending days staring at the ocean. A social butterfly stopped answering calls for weeks. Both later recognized this as the necessary emptiness before reunion, the space where old identities dissolve so something new can be born. The most profound preparations happen in silence, when the world isn't watching. The closer you get to union, the less you'll recognize yourself. Skills you mastered will abandon you. Passions that once defined you will leave you cold. This isn't failure, it's soul retrieval. All the fragments you've scattered across lifetimes are coming home, and they don't all fit the shape you've been living in. A celebrated artist stopped painting for a year. A writer forgot how to form sentences. Both were relearning creativity from a new center, one that included their twin's essence woven into their own. You aren't losing yourself. You're making room for the version of you that exists in relation to them. So when the familiar becomes foreign and the ground won't stay still beneath your feet, breathe. This isn't destruction, it's sacred reconstruction. Every unraveling thread is being rewoven into a pattern too magnificent for your old eyes to recognize. The person you're becoming has already met your twin flame in dreams, in whispers, in the space between heartbeats where all truth resides. You aren't preparing for love, dear one. You're becoming the love that prepares the way. There comes a morning, quiet, unremarkable, when you wake up and realize the ache has changed. It's no longer a desperate pull toward them, but a steady, humming certainty within you. You catch your reflection in the mirror and pause, not searching for flaws, not wondering if they'd find you beautiful, but simply seeing yourself, perhaps for the first time. The longing hasn't disappeared. It has simply turned inward. And in that moment, you understand, union was never about finding them. It was about remembering yourself. You used to think reunion meant bodies colliding, hands clasping, some dramatic crescendo of fate. But now, you feel them in the stillness, in the way sunlight spills across your kitchen floor at dawn, in the way your breath steadies when the world feels too loud. They are no longer a missing piece. They are the quiet recognition that you were never incomplete to begin with. You stop checking your phone, stop replaying old conversations, stop begging the universe for a sign. Not because you've given up, but because you finally trust the invisible thread between you. The paradox? The moment you release the need for physical proof is the moment the universe begins arranging it. Twin flames don't complete each other. They mirror each other's completeness. The love that once felt like oxygen, desperate, necessary, now feels like sunlight. You don't need it to survive, but oh, how it makes everything glow. You'll know physical union is near when the thought of it no longer sends your heart racing, but instead brings a slow, deep smile. Not because you want it less, but because you fear it less. The terror of what if it never happens dissolves into the quiet certainty of it already has. In your dreams, in your quiet moments, in the way your soul has already memorized the weight of their hand in yours. A woman who'd waited 15 years for her twin described the moment she saw him again. There was no shock, no tears, just recognition, like coming home to a house I'd been living in all along. So if you're sitting there reading this with a quiet heart, know this: the separation was never punishment. The longing was never a curse. It was all a divine orchestration to bring you back to yourself. Your twin flame isn't coming to save you, beautiful soul. They're coming to celebrate you. And when you finally stand before each other, it won't feel like a beginning. It will feel like a remembering. You stand at the edge of a breath you didn't know you were holding. The signs have faded, not because they've abandoned you, but because you no longer need them. The desperate hunger for reunion has softened into a quiet knowing. Like the way dawn doesn't beg for the sun, it simply remembers it's coming. This is the sacred secret of twin flame union. It was never about the meeting. It was about the metamorphosis that made the meeting possible. Somewhere along the way, the line between you and them blurred, not in a way that erases your individuality, but in the way starlight blends with the night sky, distinct yet inseparable. You catch yourself speaking their thoughts, feeling their joy as your own, dreaming in colors they love. This isn't merging, it's recognition. The final preparation for physical union isn't more longing. It's the realization that the distance was always an illusion. Like two rivers converging underground long before they surface as one, your souls have been weaving together in the unseen. A woman who'd spent years separated from her twin described their eventual reunion like this. When our eyes finally met, it wasn't surprise I felt, it was relief, like finally exhaling after a lifetime of breath held. Now, watch how the universe conspires in whispers rather than storms. That job transfer you didn't apply for, the friend who suddenly invites you to a city you've never visited, the song that plays when you're thinking of them, not as a sign, but as a confirmation. This is destiny working with velvet hands. No more pushing, no more straining, just a gentle unfolding, like petals responding to sunlight they've sensed long before dawn. When union comes, it may feel startlingly normal, not because the magic is gone, but because your nervous system has already lived this moment 1,000 times in the unseen. The first touch won't spark lightning. It will feel like coming indoors after years in the cold. The first conversation won't need words. You'll realize you've been having it all along in the language of shared silence. This is the gift of your preparation. The extraordinary becomes your everyday. A twin flame couple who'd cycled through separation 3 times over decades described their final reunion like this. We made coffee, we folded laundry, we stood at the sink washing dishes, and I cried. Not because it was perfect, but because it was finally easy. This is the truth beneath all the signs and synchronicities. Twin flame union isn't an ending. It's the first page of a story too vast for your old self to have comprehended. The cosmic pull you felt wasn't just drawing you to each other. It was pulling you both toward the versions of yourselves capable of staying. And now, the real work begins. Not to chase, but to choose. Not to merge, but to dance. Not to complete, but to reflect. You'll fight, but the anger will burn clean. You'll doubt, but the fear won't stick. Because this love was never about possession. It's about practice. The daily remembrance that you are both students and teachers, warriors and sanctuary. So tonight, when the moon hangs low and the world sleeps, place your hand over your heart. Feel that? The steady rhythm that needs no permission to exist. That's the pulse of a love that outlasts timelines. The reunion you've ached for is already here, in the way your breath syncs with theirs across miles, in the way your laughter echoes theirs before you hear it, in the way your soul has already carved a space for them at every table you'll ever sit at. The waiting wasn't punishment, dear one. It was incubation. And now you're ready to meet yourself in their eyes, not as half of something broken, but as the living proof that love is not something you find. It's something you become.